And this is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. And right now, let's see here. We were on our regular antenna. Amazing. We get so used to these SWRs. I have a rotary select switch that I have 4 SDRs on plus my radio audio, and so when I'm sampling, I'm just running between 5 different signals, and I can run those 5 signals on a rotary switch within a second and a half to evaluate signal strength. Sometimes I run it twice just to be sure I wasn't right or wasn't wrong, and the other part is that sometimes the SDR latency hangs out there maybe 8 seconds, 10 seconds, so that also poses a problem when I'm kind of shooting from the hip as far as running through on the rotary, because I have to wait till my voice clears, which might be up to 8 seconds before I can actually hear anybody else usually. But anyway, this is KC9VKV and the QSO-VLOG network. If you've got a radio you want to check out the audio, give us a shout.
So you want to check out the audio? Give us a shout.
Somebody's checking in there from, I think it was South Carolina. I'm copying you on the Milford, PA SDR. Come back with a call sign in South Carolina.
November 6, Echo Charlie Indy. November 6, Echo Charlie Indy.
November 6, Echo Charlie India. What's the name?
The name?
Name is Mike.
One more time, please. The name?
The name?
Name is Mike. Mexico India Kilo Echo Mike. And we're just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, just across the state line in Lake Wiley, South Carolina.
All right, Mike. Let's deal with the audio first. You have no bottom end there. I would suggest. Do you know where your EQ is?
No, this in fact is an old HW-101. Haven't been running with this thing in quite a while. The microphone is an old mic from back in the 60s. So I'm just curious if there's any audio at all.
All right, take notes, Mike. When you become more familiar with that radio, go to your EQ, equalization, tone control, whatever they might call it. Add about 3 clicks at the bottom end, bass, or 150, well, maybe 200 cycles if you depending on what kind of EQ you have. 2 or 3 clicks on the bottom end, and I think the top end may suffice where it is. I can't tell. It's so upper mids, like around 1.5K or so. It's so hard in that area. You know what I usually do? You want your EQs, top and bottom EQs, to be active, to be helpful, and the problem is if you boost the mid-range, then you have to overly boost the top and the bottom to catch up with it. So usually what I do, I make sure that my mid-range is flat. 1 KC or thereabouts is flat, 2 KC is flat, and 500 cycles, right in that area, flat. And that way, a bass increase makes a lot more difference, and you can hear it a lot better without having to do 20 dBs of push. And likewise, the top end EQ is going to work better hearing it when you don't boost your mid-range. So I'd leave the mid-range flat and or make it flat, and then I would usually boost bottom end about 2, and the top end, what you want to do is to be articulated as best you can, and that is in the S's, the syllabic range, and you want to hit that maybe at about 3K, right in that area, you know, maybe a 2 or 3 dB push in that area. Roger?
Roger.
Yeah, if I would put that compressor in there at about a 3 out of 5 or 3 out of 10. A compressor in, engage the compressor, and then about a 3 out of 10. And then I would go to my ALC meter, and I have my mic gain that I could bring the mic gain up till my ALC meter is moving a mid-scale to 2/3. Roger.
Roger.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that last. Repeat.
Repeat.
Let me try this. Do you have a copy on me now?
Yes, I do.
I do.
Okay, this is a completely different setup here. This is an Audio-Technica mic through a HW-286S processor, and this is the first time I've ever tried this on the ham band. What's the quality sound like on this?
Sounds pretty good, and your dynamic range is running about 3 dB, which is a pretty fat signal. Usually 3 dB equates to about 80-85% peak modulation, Roger. Average peak modulation.
Let me crank the compressor settings up a little bit on this and see if that makes any difference.
Roger. Now, if your compressor is you know, like a 10, you know, I would do a 3 out of 10. I'd put it on a 3 out of 10 or 30 out of 100, Roger. You don't want to really push that the compressor. You just want to start laying the groundwork for a fatter signal. So I would put that compressor at a 3 out of 10 or a 30 out of 100, Roger.
Roger.
Roger. Yeah, it's about a third of the way up right now. The controls on the compressor section of this is one is called drive and one is called density, and they're both 0 to 10. So I've got them both set at about 3.5 right now. This DBX unit also has EQ controls where you can enhance the top and the bottom. How's the frequency response sound through this?
Sounds really good. Maybe just a couple of clicks on the top end, if that's easily done. I wouldn't change anything else. Just a little more top end EQ. Roger.
Roger.
Roger. Okay, let's try that.
Come back and tell me about your antenna system.
Clicks on the top end there.
Yeah, just tell me about your antenna system for about 10 seconds or so.
Very good. Now the antenna here is a ground-mounted vertical, the Hustler trap vertical, and I've got it ground-mounted next to the house itself in the woods with about I've got 24 radios, so it's not a half-bad ground-mounted antenna system. We're just putting out 100 watts on the HW-101 here, so that's the station.
Roger, I would leave it just like that. I think you break out the Gorilla Tape and tape everything down, Roger.
Down, Roger.
Roger. Tell you what, hang on just a sec. Okay, I just switched back to the original old crystal mic. Can you tell the difference?
Oh, yeah. That sounds like it's just all upper mids, no bottom end. Just, kind of sheet tin, really. Much better on the other system.
Excellent. Okay. I was too worried that this thing was going to distort, but if this is working well, I'm both surprised and impressed. So, like I said, I don't know if you caught, I do some voiceover work, so I've got a couple of professional mics and a couple of these DBX 286S channel strip processors, so it's got the compression, it's got low enhance and a high enhance and a gating expander and everything that I probably wouldn't use for this. But if this is going to help the situation, we will stick with it as it is.
Yeah, I would leave it just like it is. I would consult with my ALC. I would double check with my ALC to be sure I was running mid-scale to 2/3. And that would be controlled by your I guess your mic gain, but it sounds pretty good. I think you'd be close to mid-scale to 2/3 on that ALC anyway. Roger.
Roger.
Roger. Yeah, looking at the ALC right now, it's peaking about a third of the way. Let's see if I crank it up, if that changes anything. Test 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. This is the original setting, and here it's up about another quarter of a turn. Any difference on that?
Well, I'll tell you what to do. When you key up, if you're looking at your watt meter, and your watt meter is fairly well maxed out, I mean, as far as running at about the 2/3 area, if you see the bottom end activity, you know that compressor is sucking up too much. In other words, when you key, you should not see the residual meter movement making much headway up the scale on the VU on the if you went to your watt meter. Your watt meter will reflect any ambient noise in your signal when you're not speaking. So if you have much of that, then you have exceeded the speed limit on your compressor, because you don't want a bunch of stuff, in the background there. Roger.
Roger. Okay. Well, nope. I'm not seeing any residuals on that front. All right. Well, tell you what, I appreciate the info. That's quite helpful, Jim. I will go on to the YouTube channel then in a few days and see if I can find that, and I would be very curious to hear the playback of this. So I will 373 from South Carolina, and wish you a nice weekend, and thank you very much for your help. November 6th, Echo Charlie India.
Repeat your call sign again, please.
Again, please.
November 6th, Echo Charlie India.
And the name?
The name?
And the name was Mike.
Roger, Mike. I had that already, but I just couldn't find it. My page just becomes so elongated with different stuff that I don't do it sequentially. I really should just do it sequentially, like it happens. But I'm trying to get those call signs down. I just don't have a chance to really look around very much, and so I just put them wherever they are, and hopefully I've got it somewhere on the page. But anyway, Mike, a three-side way, sir. Have a good afternoon and a good weekend, and we'll get this posted up on YouTube. Roger.
Roger.
Thank you very much. KC9VKV N6ECI clip.
Roger. 3Z way, sir. This is a KC9VKV and the QSO-VLOG network. If you've got a radio that you want to check the audio out, give us a shout. We are recording KC9VKV.